Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins find themselves at a serious crossroads, and surprisingly, it all revolves around one of the NFL's most electric playmakers, Tyreek Hill. Once seen as the missing piece that could launch Miami into Super Bowl contention, Hill's future in South Beach is suddenly unclear. According to recent reports, including a breakdown from CBS Sports' Tyler Sullivan, the Dolphins may be leaning toward a strange, possibly unpopular contract decision with Hill. Despite being under contract through the 2026 season, Hill has no guaranteed money left after this year. That means the Dolphins are faced with a dilemma. Extend one of the league's most dangerous wideouts, or cut ties before his age catches up to his production. And the truth? Both options come with serious risks. As the AFC gets more competitive by the year, Miami has to decide fast. Are they going all in with Hill, or are they bracing for life without him? Now, let's rewind just a bit. Tyreek Hill's arrival in Miami sent shockwaves through the league. His unique blend of speed, explosiveness, and swagger gave the Dolphins' offense a whole new identity. Pairing him with Tua Tagovailoa gave fans hope that this team could challenge the big boys in the AFC. Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, and for a moment, it looked like the gamble was paying off. But last season told a different story. Hill, while still productive, didn't quite live up to the lofty expectations. He finished with 959 receiving yards and just 6 touchdowns. Now, let's be real. Those numbers are solid by most standards. But for a guy of Hill's caliber, especially with what he's getting paid, that stat line opened the door to criticism. And more importantly, internal questions about his long-term value. Making matters worse, Hill hasn't exactly been quiet about his frustrations with the team. There have been whispers, some subtle, some loud, that he's not thrilled with the direction this franchise is heading. He's voiced his concerns, vented on social media, and in doing so, has painted a picture of a player who might not be totally bought into what Miami's trying to build. And that's a problem. Because when your superstar is looking sideways at the organization, it doesn't just affect the locker room. It sends shockwaves throughout the entire league. Teams take notice. Front offices start to wonder if there's an opportunity. Trade rumors start swirling, and suddenly what once looked like a solid foundation begins to crack under the pressure. And here's where it gets really complicated. Tyler Sullivan points out that while Hill has been the subject of non-stop trade, speculation since Miami's season came to a crashing halt, no deal has materialized. Nothing. No blockbuster. No surprise deadline day shocker. Just silence. Which leads to a tough question. Is Hill truly as valuable on the open market as we thought? Or are other teams just unwilling to pay the premium Miami would demand in return? Either way, it leaves the Dolphins in a weird limbo. They can't trade him for pennies on a dollar, but extending him now, with age and recent performance in mind, feels like a gamble that could backfire. And here's the kicker. Hill is about to turn 31. That's not ancient in NFL terms, especially for a receiver who's kept himself in phenomenal shape. But the speedsters, the guys who rely on pure burst and acceleration to separate, history hasn't always been kind to them as they age. If Miami hands him a massive extension now and he starts to lose a step next season, they're stuck with a high-priced veteran who's no longer elite. And that's the kind of contract that can cripple a franchise's cap flexibility. Especially when you're not quite a Super Bowl team, but not bad enough to justify a rebuild. That's exactly where Miami is, stuck in the dreaded NFL middle ground. So what's the right move? Many analysts are saying the Dolphins should wait. Let Hill play out the year. Let him prove once and for all that he's still one of the best in the league. If he balls out and returns to that all-pro level, then you talk extension. Maybe next offseason, when the cap is a bit more flexible and the team has a clearer sense of its direction. But if he struggles, if age starts to show, then maybe it's time to quietly explore the idea of moving on, even if it's not a popular decision with fans. Because let's be real, emotions can't run your front office. Logic has to win. The thing is, it's not just about Tyreek Hill. It's about what kind of team the Dolphins want to be moving forward. Do they want to push all their chips in and try to ride this current core? Tua, Waddle, Hill, and a shaky defense into deep playoff contention? Or are they quietly preparing for a reset? Maybe not a full rebuild, but a reshuffling of the deck. Because the AFC is a gauntlet. Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Burrow and Allen are just getting started. And new threats like CJ Stroud in Houston are emerging fast. Standing still in this conference is the same as moving backward. That's the harsh truth. If the Dolphins really believe Hill is still that guy, then sure, give him the bag. Lock him in. Show the locker room that stars get taken care of. But if they have even the slightest doubt, if there's any hesitation about his long-term fit or his age curve, then it's okay to pause. It's okay to make the hard decision, even if it's unpopular. Because the worst thing a team can do is double down on a mistake out of fear. And while Hill might not be a mistake yet, there's no denying the warning signs are flashing. Declining numbers, public frustration, trade chatter. It's all right there, plain as day. From a fan's perspective, it's tough. You don't want to see your favorite players walk away, especially guys like Tyreek Hill, who bring so much energy and excitement every time they touch the field. But football is a business, and the cold reality is this. Contracts are about projection, not the past. Miami has to look forward, not backward. They got tough decisions ahead, not just with Hill, but with their entire roster construction. And the outcome of this Hill situation might be the domino that dictates how aggressive or conservative they'll be for the next several seasons. So here we are, the calm before what could be a stormy offseason for the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill remains on the roster for now. He's still under contract, still one of the most dangerous players in the NFL. But behind the scenes, a chess match is already underway. The front office is weighing risks, rewards, cap numbers, locker room morale, and long-term viability. And while no final decision has been made, don't be surprised if this season becomes Tyreek Hill's last dance in South Beach. If the Dolphins are serious about contending, not just making the playoffs, but really contending, they'll need to make bold, sometimes uncomfortable moves. And this could be one of them. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because today's news out of Miami is absolutely shocking and could send tremors through the entire NFL. According to recent rumors swirling around the league, star wide receiver Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins allegedly exposed his teammate Tyreek Hill, claiming that Hill is, quote, hated in the locker room. That's right. The man known for his blazing speed, game-breaking plays, and larger-than-life personality is now at the center of a firestorm of controversy, with his own teammate reportedly questioning his standing within the team. If this rumor holds any weight, it raises serious questions about the chemistry inside one of the most dynamic offenses in the league and could have huge implications for the Dolphins' chances this season. Now, before we dive into the juicy details, let's rewind for a second and remember who we're talking about here. Tyreek Hill isn't just any player. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion, and one of the most feared wideouts in the NFL. Ever since arriving in Miami, he's been the centerpiece of Mike McDaniel's high-octane offense, racking up yards and making defenders look absolutely silly. On the other hand, Jalen Waddle, though younger, has rapidly carved out his own name as an elite receiver, forming what many consider to be one of the deadliest WR duos in the league. But as we all know, when there are two alphas in the same room, tensions can rise. According to reports from unnamed sources close to the Dolphins organization, Jalen Waddle allegedly confided in someone within his circle, stating that Tyreek Hill's presence has become divisive. The sources claim that Waddle described Hill as being all about himself, not a true team player, and that several guys in the locker room have grown tired of his antics. This alleged admission has sparked a wildfire of debate among fans and analysts alike. Could it be true that Tyreek Hill, known for his infectious energy on the field, is actually driving a wedge between teammates behind the scenes? What makes this rumor even more compelling is the timing of it all. The Dolphins are entering what many believe could be a make-or-break season for this core group. With Tua Tagovailoa healthy and the offensive weapons firing on all cylinders, expectations are sky high in South Beach. But internal strife like this, especially between two of the team's biggest stars, could completely derail the momentum. Chemistry is everything in the NFL, especially when it comes to the passing game. If Waddle and Hill are not on the same page, it could have disastrous consequences for Miami's offensive efficiency and overall locker room culture. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Tyreek Hill's personality has always been polarizing, to say the least. On one hand, he's known for his charisma, his confidence, and his relentless trash talk that often gets into the heads of opponents. But on the other hand, there have been whispers for years that his bravado can rub teammates the wrong way. Some see it as confidence, others see it as arrogance. And if Jalen Waddle really did say that Hill is hated in the locker room, it suggests that more than just one or two players are fed up. It points to a potential fracture within the entire team. As fans, we have to ask ourselves, is this just another baseless rumor designed to create drama, or is there real smoke? Here? The Dolphins front office has yet to make any public comment, and neither Hill nor Waddle have addressed the reports directly. But in today's age of social media, silence often speaks volumes. The fact that neither player has come out to quash these rumors could indicate that there's some truth to them, or at the very least that the relationship between these two stars is more complicated than we previously thought. Let's not forget that both of these players are ultra competitive and prideful. Jalen Waddle is coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and is eager to prove that he's not just Tyreek's sidekick, but a bona fide WR1 in his own right. Meanwhile, Hill is gunning for a record-breaking year, having previously stated that he aims to surpass 2,000 receiving yards this season. When two players with that much talent and ambition are sharing the same spotlight, egos are bound to clash. And if the rest of the locker room is taking sides, as the rumor suggests, it could lead to a toxic environment. From a coaching perspective, this situation presents an enormous challenge for Mike McDaniel. He's widely regarded as a player's coach, someone who fosters a relaxed and supportive environment. But even the best coaches struggle when their star players are at odds. McDaniel will need to navigate this carefully to avoid a full-blown locker room implosion. Whether that means holding private meetings, facilitating honest conversations between Hill and Waddle, or even making tough roster decisions down the line, the next few weeks could be pivotal for the Dolphins' internal dynamics. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that NFL locker rooms are complex ecosystems filled with diverse personalities, varying egos, and high-pressure expectations. Conflicts like these, whether minor or major, happen all the time. They just usually don't make it to the public eye unless someone leaks them. If this rumor is true, it might not spell the end for the Dolphins, but it could certainly alter the trajectory of their season. Conversely, if it's false, then this is just another example of how quickly narratives can spiral out of control in the modern media landscape. In conclusion, the alleged rift between Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill is a storyline that every NFL fan should keep an eye on as the season progresses. Whether it's rooted in truth or simply overblown speculation, the fact that it's even being discussed shows just how much the personalities of star players impact team chemistry and public perception. For the Dolphins, the stakes couldn't be higher. They have all the pieces to make a deep playoff run, but only if they're united on and off the field. As always, stay tuned, because in the NFL, drama never sleeps. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.